tried every other avenue, and then it got to, right, you're not playing rugby anymore.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Rugby Through the Leagues podcast. We've actually got another Spanish rugby growing legend within the Valladolid region, shall we say, for his last-minute kicks and just pinpoint accuracy off the tee at the minute. Sam Hollingsworth, for those that don't know who you are, and I know a lot in Spain probably do now, obviously with your escapades here with VRAC, but for those that don't.
Yeah, no, well, thank you very much, firstly, for having me on. Where do I start? The career is not that glamorous, I would say, but we're here in Spain living what I like to say is the dream. I've been in Valladolid now for almost 2 years, playing for VRAC. I come over from England. I've previously only played in England. Started playing when I was 5, as most kids do. Parents got me into it, my dad especially. And yeah, from England, I come from Nottingham. I played 4 years for Nottingham Rugby in the Championship. I had a ACL surgery, so that was sort of the catalyst for coming to Spain, I would say. I enjoyed my time at Nottingham. I loved it. It gave me opportunity to be seen. We played a nice brand of rugby. And then unfortunately, as things do in rugby or sport, you get injured and you start looking at other avenues or wondering if you're going to get back, especially with an ACL. I wanted something different, a different challenge, different culture, all those things. And Spain come on the doorstep. And I'll be honest, I didn't know anything about Spanish rugby, if I'm honest. I got 2 offers and I chose to come to VRAC. I was like, oh, who are they? And I bluntly got told they're the best team in Spain. So I said, well, that sounds like a good idea for me. To look it up on the map to where I wanted to go. And I was like, okay, we're near Madrid. That sounds pretty cool. And then, here we are 2 years later. And I'm enjoying life. I'm living the dream, like I say.
Plenty to unwrap in what you say is a fairly short-lived career so far, obviously with a major ACL injury in the middle of that as well. We'll start with the champ, obviously with Nottingham. There's so many issues with the Championship at the minute, obviously being gatekept, you can't go up. There's all of these other bits and bobs. When you were there, obviously some clubs have got the ambition, obviously the likes of Ealing and stuff, they've gone this season unbeaten now, etc. Clubs coming down, going back up straight away. When you're at Nottingham and obviously you're trying to come through your career, starting, etc., how did that come around with the Championship level? Obviously, did you progress through? Was there a scouting level, or was it a case of you come through the academy, got into that, and then the Championship come with it, or was that the original aspiration, and then the tier above was you were going to hopefully get to the Prem?
I would say I did a journey. I went through the leagues. Like every rugby player that sort of wants to play as high as they can. The dream when I was younger was play Prem, play England, all those things. Obviously, those things didn't happen, which I'm more than happy with nowadays. Career's gone how it went. But I first got my sort of opportunity was when I was 16. I got an offer to go to Worcester Warriors as an academy player, but it was sort of coincided with college. And again, like most sports kids, back when you're younger in your teens, you think school's not that important. And I remember vividly to this day, I was a year away from doing GCSEs and wasn't doing that great. My dad, as I previously mentioned, who was the one who always took me to rugby, the one who got me into it, me to this sort of opportunity that I'm in now, sat me down and basically tried every other avenue, and then it got to, right, you're not playing rugby anymore. That was the eye-opener for me to say, okay, I need to knuckle down and
do something.
Then I played, I think it was 6 months later, 8 months later, played a game for my county, and 2 weeks after that game, I got an offer from Worcester, but it was, you need this certain amount of grades to get into college. If you don't make the college, you don't get into the academy sort of thing. So then I did that, finished my 2 years. Worcester let me go. Did like an apprenticeship year with Coventry, who were currently at that time in National 1. I did a year in National 3 with Broad Street. We won the league.
Okay.
So we got promoted to National 2. That season after, I joined National 1. I played 2 years for Birmingham Moseley.
Oh, nice. Good side.
Yeah, good, very good side, very historic club. So I would think I was 19 then when I joined them. 19, 20. I had done, in between that, I'd done under 18s and under 20s England counties, which were amazing tours, met some great friends, played with some boys that are playing, 1 or 2 boys that are playing in the Prem now. I did another year in National 1 with Rotherham.
They're going great guns at the minute.
Yeah,
they just got promoted, didn't they?
Great, going great. Absolutely great club again. Love the fans. Got a few mates that still play there. A friend that I played with Nottingham is playing there now. So yeah, it was great to see them back in the Championship. And then COVID happened. So I was playing for Rotherham when the COVID started and rugby sort of got cut short. Ultimately sent Rotherham down a league. So we just won a game that looked like we were going to stay up. But then because we couldn't play the remainders, we got sent down. And then, yeah, I was sat at home wondering what my rugby's looking like with the life, wondering what life is looking like with COVID, like everyone else. And I was talking with a few clubs just trying to see what's out there. I personally approached Nottingham just to chance my arm. I felt that I'd played, even though we got relegated, I'd played some good rugby in the last 2-3 years. And then Nottingham got back to me. They gave me an opportunity. I played the mini COVID season. And I started that season thinking I'm way at my depth here. And I think a lot of the boys in that group would say, yeah, who's this kid that's just rocked up? But yeah, then like you say, it's they kept me on and it was a growing thing. Didn't start every game. Sometimes wasn't in the squad. And as a player who knows my ability, it was tough to take, but I wasn't showing it. So and I learned a lot. My 4 years at Nottingham, I learned a lot. How to be a better 10. I was always a 10 there, maybe a 15. And then, yeah, just did my 4 years, learned a lot of the trade, got bigger, got stronger, faster, understood the game a bit more tactically. Yeah, and then, like I said, at the start, the knee went in a weird freak thing. Spent a year out of the game and they say next Spain come knocking as an opportunity. And here we are today, living life, missing 1 title from Spain in the 2 years and hoping to win that in the next few weeks.
Yeah, so obviously it's so common as well, those freak injuries. Like, as you say, when you start to get that momentum, what actually happened? Obviously, I'm sure it's probably vivid in your mind, but
yeah,
really innocuous at the same time. It's weird, probably.
Yeah, it's strange. It sort of happened across 2 games, I think. I made a standard textbook tackle, like just went, drop low, side on, he won the momentum. I rolled out the ruck. I stood up and my knee just buckled. I was like, ooh. And I thought I just sort of, his knee hit my knee, sort of contact injury, dead leg, because that's the feeling it was. There was only 10 minutes left. We were chasing a game. So just strapped it up, cracked on, but I was running, everything was fine. And then we had a game about 10 days later on Boxing Day in England. So trained 3-4 days later. It sort of swelling sort of gone down and everything was fine. And it was my kicking leg, so everything was fine until I kicked the ball. I kicked the ball and my knee felt like it was falling out. And I was like, ooh, that's not right. But sprinting, everything was fine. So went into this game about 15, 20 minutes in. I got hit late. Second row like sort of jumped on my back, come down my back and made my knee go again. And I could barely stand. I had to get someone else to kick and was struggling. But again, then pain went away slowly. So we got to half time and I was like, my knee's gone. Turn of the new year, went and got a scan. Yeah, they were like, yeah, you've ruptured your ACL. And that was the only thing that went. But they gave me the option, you can have surgery or you cannot. But for me, I'm not the biggest player. I'm not with the massive big legs like the forwards. So I sort of needed it reconstructed to keep the agility, speed.
It's the kicking as well, isn't it? Because every time you put that impact, you're going to lose so much off that if you didn't have that operated on.
Exactly. A lot of those things, extension and all those things. So yeah, we got it done, and yeah.
So how did that impact you? Because obviously, champ rugby's not really pro, is it? So there's a certain level of it, and that must have, you then sat there with a busted knee, coming off the back end of it, doing a bit of rehab, probably wondering where the fuck it all went wrong in life a little bit. Times. It must have felt like that.
Yeah, I was quite fortunate in a way because, like I say, champ rugby isn't pro. We have a handful of teams where they're full time. Due to COVID, Nottingham wasn't one of them after that. So I went to Nottingham already having a job. So I'd done that job then for that next 4 years as well. So I always had balanced work with rugby, which was again another tough thing, especially in the champ. But I was quite fortunate in a sense because of the effects of COVID. My job become hybrid, so I was working at home a lot. So yeah, I done the knee and I had the surgery and told work, and they were used to a few injuries, me not being able to get in the office, or I can't look at a computer, I'm concussed, those sorts of things. We played a few of them once. So yeah, I had 2-3 weeks off just to get used to the pain and stuff. And once that had worn off, I was sat on a sofa, logged on. But again, the company I worked for, they were real great. We do have to go to the office once or twice a week. They said just come when you're allowed to drive and it's safe. So yeah, they were real great. So I wasn't in a terrible position at all. I was still working, I was still earning money. And then yeah, it was just the rehab side of things. It was more not playing rugby and not being able to do everyday things. And for a good month, just like I say, I would be sat on a sofa looking at the same four walls for 8 to 12 hours a day. I think I've gone through about 6 series in about a week. And yeah, it's more of a mental game. And I had friends that I've done it before, a teammate that I'd played with. He told me that, and I was like, I'll be okay. Like my family are only an hour away. What's wrong with sitting on a sofa all day? And yeah, I suddenly got to understand what they meant, because as luxurious as that sounds, it's you drive yourself insane and you can't work out, you can't do anything to release this sort of entrapment of your own brain. Yeah.
Sat with your own thoughts, that's the worst bit in it. It doesn't matter how you fight. Your normal escapes, get to the gym, run around, do all those other bits is paramount. And I think that's why a lot of people struggled with the COVID mental space as well. And as you say, if that's accumulated with an injury that means you can't get out as well, it's just like... So then you decided to book a flight to Spain and leave it all behind you, mate. So
basically, mate, yeah, I was like, enough of this, I'm off.
So obviously, as you said, you got 2 offers. You going to tell us who the other offer was?
Yeah, there's no harm. Basically, it came about. I was gonna, again, because I knew nothing about Spanish rugby. I was gonna join Phoenix in the second division. Again, because for me at that time, I was sort of like, I don't know anything about Spanish rugby. One of my friends was going to Phoenix from England as well. He sort of helped me get that sort of gig. And I was like, okay, I'm coming back from injury. I'm not going to be as sharp, as good as I was. So let me go play in Spain for a year and maybe I'll bounce back and come back to England. Who knows? And then, a guy who sort of helped sort that out along with my friend, he then just proposed, I've got another offer if you're interested. So I said, yeah, sure. Let me have a look at it. And yeah, like I say, the offer was VRAC. Again, testament to them. They gave me an opportunity. They knew I was coming back from injury, a big injury. They wanted me out as soon as possible, knowing that I couldn't play for a month or so. But yeah, I mean, like every club I've been at, they've been very, very good, gave me lots of opportunities, supported obviously when injured and all those things. So yeah, it was sort of like a swap, a similar swap. There was no bad blood at Nottingham at all. I love my time there, like I said, and it was just time for me to move on. And then that Phoenix was an offer, and I was like, oh, that one's I looked on the map. I was like, oh, that one looks quite nice. And then heard the history of VRAC and the division up, and I thought, you know what? Again, it was that mindset of things of, am I going to be the player I was before? And then, it was, again, a chat with my dad, and he said, your skill set doesn't go out of nowhere. Your brain of understanding the game doesn't disappear just because you hurt your knee. It's, can your body do it?
Yeah.
I'd rehabbed well, again, thanks to Nottingham, because even though at that time I wasn't signed with them, until I left, they rehabbed me. They gave me everything. They gave me everything I needed: physios, gym. Even allowed me to train with them until I literally got on the flight like the next day. So yeah, it was a massive thanks to them. Spoke to them when I got back on the pitch. Spoke to the physio and things just to say things like that. So yeah, it was. I thought let's go to VRAC. Let's test it. Like I say, it was more of a mental thing, and if the knee allowed me to do it, so
it wasn't a bad first season, was it? So
it was all right. Yeah.
Missed out on the title, didn't you? But obviously got the Copa Del Rey over the line, and obviously this season, similar sort of way. You've had a good run. Obviously the Copa Del Rey, what a tournament that has been this year as well, and the league is just another level again. When you stepped across, obviously you've gone from champ. A lot of people ask me the question. I'm nowhere near your level, but people are like, what's the level compared from England to Spain? So obviously I've played in Territorial 1 and Territorial 2 over here, which I could probably compare to maybe level 6, say, in England, level 5, level 6. I played to a similar level back in England as well. But coming from champ to top tier Spanish rugby, obviously then this year's changed again because obviously they've added that extra league in between, and I think the level's gone up because they've managed to bring a few players back. How did you find it? What would you obviously would have classed it as last season, and where are we going with Spanish rugby now?
Yeah, I think to answer the first question, where I compare it is top end National 1 to bottom end champ. Purely because, and it's difficult, and I don't want to speak bad on any team because there's some great players, even if they're not in the best team in Spain. That would be speaking probably in the top 5, 6 teams of the top division. I'd say that just because of quality of players, but the amount of quality players teams have got.
Obviously, you got the top 6 teams. This league's been a bit weird how they've separated it as well, and it's probably separated some teams a little bit earlier, and they've probably got a little bit lucky. Obviously, I live not far from Levia, so Levia have had a barnstorming start to the season. Looked like they could do whatever they wanted. But that top 6 was separated at a perfect time for them, really, wasn't it? So
like I say, I think the difference for me between, like I say, I think the top 6 in Spain is top end National 1, bottom champ. I think the difference is intensity, and then I would probably just say a bit of accuracy with skill set. There's a lot of teams that have good skill set, but more being able to do that repeatedly. And there's teams in the champ where you give them a chance, they'll take it. And that's most teams in the champ. Whereas in Spain, there's a handful of teams where you'll go, okay, we can't give an easy mistake here because they will take it. You'll get away with it a bit more against a lesser team in the league, and you're like, okay, we'll get another chance. Whereas the champ doesn't really work like that. You've got to be on it for 80 minutes. And I'd say that's the difference. It's the intensity and then just the repeatability of being able to execute skills.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, like when you watch the games back as well, and I'll watch it live, you think, how many chances would it be? Like when you look, especially, I'm going to probably pinpoint Liceo Frances at the minute. They started the season so well, or so poorly, and then they had that really good blip. Then they had another drop off, and then they had they've had a good run at the minute. They're going into the semis in a good run of form. But players have returned at the right time for them. They've obviously signed well and stuff like that. And it's kind of happened in reverse to Levia and then Alcobendas. You had an average start good run, average. As you said, there's no consistency throughout the season. Like even you guys, you had a couple of slip ups and games where it's just gone against you when you think there's no way they're going to lose. And then you got, obviously, you'll probably call them your noisy neighbours, El Salvador. They've had an atrocious season in their own eyes. Obviously, barely survived. Now, obviously, lost to yourselves, but they had an half decent run in the Copa del Rey, but then afterwards it just went into free fall. You've probably seen it as well. So last season was slightly different because obviously a lot of players weren't centrally contracted and able to come back in and out of the games. This season we've had the Iberian centrally contracted. So a lot of players have disappeared for periods, come back, disappeared. Like in Sevilla, obviously you had Tani Bai and stuff like that. When he's come back, he's been able to do what he does. Have clubs got to be really, really aware of making sure that they don't get caught out by having those luxury players, should we probably call them, a little bit in the Spanish rugby?
Yeah, I think they do, especially with things that I'm hearing or the rules that we have in place for the minute in terms of
the ABC or something about the qualifications.
Years ago, you used to have sort of as many foreigner C licenses as you wanted, as many as me as you wanted, essentially. Whereas now, I think the rule at the minute is you have to have 13 A licenses, which is Spanish born players.
Spanish qualified and stuff, born or
in your
through their academies or something as well, isn't it?
And you have to have 13 of those in your match day 23. So then you're fitting 10 of the licenses across the board, but you're also only allowed 8 B licenses in your whole squad. So it's sort of, I would say got to be careful, especially because the rumor I'm hearing is that A license number is going to increase next year. So then, you can have your Iberian or your luxury players, but you're going to have them for 6 games a season. So then comes the question of you look within your local area, you look at other teams nearby, you look at your own junior system, your 23s, all those sorts of things, and which again is sort of where I'd say a difference is in England to Spain. Rugby isn't Spain's top 3 main sports at all.
You'd say probably top 5 to be fair.
Exactly, and so then you try to look locally. And it's really difficult to then compete with the teams that have got those better players like VRAC, like Alcobendas, like Burgos, that have got those players that are Spanish or they managed to hold on to their criteria a lot better than other clubs. And again, like England, because yes, you have foreign players in England, especially in the Prem, but Championship down below, everything is sort of English qualified players and local lads, but there's a whole country to pick from, which all play rugby, have grew up playing rugby, have been coached. It's just very, very different. Like rugby is certainly in the top 3 sports of the country. So I would say that's at the end a difference. I think one of the reasons El Salvador struggled this year was because of that. They lost a few boys that were your BC licenses for whatever reason, and a lot of it is they play a lot of 23s, some good players in there, but it's that exposure. They're not used to it. It's a different level to the 23s league, and I can sort of say that I played 1 game this year for the 23s, coming back from injury, and there's just a level to it, and there's a physicality level to it. I mean, VRAC, we have 23s play with us, but they thrive and they learn. Some find out, okay, I've got to improve, but they found out by having that exposure. Again, yes, it helps being amongst players or a team that's in the top 2. Absolutely.
Problem is you don't want to expose them too much too early. Like I know everyone says, just if they're old enough, they're good enough, they're old enough. Like, but as you said, there's levels. Yeah. Like there is levels, and like if you go too quick, too early, it will be a detriment to certain players. And the thing is, for a nation like Spain to keep improving as a nation, as a sport, we've got to maximise those players playing at that level for as much as possible. That under 23, that under 18 to under 20s or under 23 level is a perfect exposure before you get to that next bit. And if you can blood them in during the División de Honor games, etc., that's the perfect transition of still getting them exposed, because it's what most of it's a good mixture of the top two tiers. Under 23 squads, they have to have a certain amount in there. You have to play the similar fixtures, and you don't get that in England. You do, but you don't, do you? Because it's easier to ship people out on loan than it is to try and grow them within. So that's the kind of one difference that you see. Yeah. But if they increase that, that's going to be the detriment of the short-term development. But long-term, it's probably going to help the nation. But it's finding that hard balance between the two.
I'd say everything's got a counter argument, because like you say, in England you can ship people off on loan no matter what level you play at. If you're in the Prem, they go Champ, National 1. And if you're in National 2, they go down 2 leagues, come back. But Spain is, yes, they've got many leagues, but there's not loads of teams, and you have to be in quite a big city like Madrid or down south to be able to have access to that. But then it's also, for example, if you're in Sevilla and you want to go on loan, you might go to a team on loan, but you're better off playing in the 23s because that level is actually better.
The closest one from Sevilla is going back up towards Valencia, which they're playing in the Elite, which is obviously one tier down. But as you said, it's levels. Yeah. But that will get more exposure because they're obviously being included in the Copa del Rey. It's not a now solution; it's a future solution. They are trying to safeguard for the future, which is brilliant. But there's got to be that transitional period, as you say. But it's exciting. I love it. Obviously, being here, being part of it, seeing it, and within these last 2 years. There is a shift. There is a mindset shift, I think, within Spanish rugby, the way it's been trying to target it, and obviously with the 2035 World Cup bid.
Absolutely,
in the planning, Valladolid, I've come up there for a couple of games up there, and it's a great setup. Obviously, I know they use the football stadium, but when it's the two teams, I sadly missed the Copa del Rey last year, but that must have been immense. The two Valladolid teams in a Valladolid stadium, absolutely going toe to toe for it. That must have been electrifying just to even stand on the pitch, let alone be part of it and come out the winner as well.
It was something I've never experienced before, so it was a first for me for sure. Just the whole day, from leaving the hotel we met at to getting police escorts to a game, and I was like, "What's going on here?" And then just stepping off the bus. Each team's got their set of ultras, we'll call them ultras, flares, everything. It was like a football game, and I was like, what's going on? This is mental. And then warming up was pretty normal because it was 30 degrees, everyone's outside in the fan zone having drinks, and so the stadium was pretty dead. But as soon as the shirts were on and we were out in the tunnel, it was looking out, and you just look to the right and your left as you come out, and there's 20,000 people sat there. I was like, wow, okay, we're in a good game here. And it was tough because it was, like I say, my first experience of that. But I was also, okay, we've got a job to do. This is a cup final. So for me, I think being at the age and going through the things I've been through, I was able to sort of embrace that sort of the crowd.
For what it was. Yeah, you could
embrace everything. And then as soon as that whistle went, it was, okay, we're in game mode. And it was in game mode until that final whistle went, or the moment we knew we couldn't be caught. And then it was like, okay, now let's enjoy it. And again, it was quite good for me and my family come over, but it was nice to embrace that with the boys and a new set of friends and new set of teammates that I never thought I'd ever experience playing rugby with. And let me tell you, there's something different to Spanish celebrations. They go quite hard. So it was fun.
All right. I don't remember most of the nights after something we went all season unbeaten this time round, and we managed to win the league this year after last year's relegation, and like we've done it this year. And I remember like leaving the clubhouse, but after that, the wife drove home, and apparently I absolutely tomboled. So yeah, it was 100% worthwhile. How's the lingo working out, mate? Because a lot of queries that come across, obviously trying to do the Spanish. It's not the easiest language to try and embrace, especially in different regions. Because especially down here, we've got Valenciano, we've also got obviously Castellano, and then they just make up other things. We've got Argentinians. They got Argentinians and everything. Like there's random. I'm like, well, I think I've nailed that bit. Oh fuck! Somebody else has said. How's it work? How's it work up your end, mate?
Yeah, I mean, the first year was pretty abysmal, I would say. I gave it a go, and then I sort of not gave up with it, but I was like, I'm struggling too much with this. And then before I knew the season was over, and then when I come back, I went hard at it for a good few months. The boys will say I've improved a lot, but there's still a lot to learn. I can hold a somewhat basic conversation if it's in the present. If we start changing tenses, I'm screwed.
Nothing ever happened before. Nothing in the future doesn't exist. Nothing behind.
I mean, it's an important thing, especially now. Like, it's a lot easier for me on the field. I have boys that speak English, but when you're in the heat of the battle and things like that, you go to your nature, and so for me to be able to give somewhat communication, especially playing 10 and 12, I need to talk to both sets of forwards and backs. So it's helped a lot. But yeah, there's a lot to improve. But yeah, I've had some. I mean, the legend himself, Callow's been a great help with me. So yeah, I live 2 minutes away from him. So whenever I need something, especially when I first arrived, he was there, and he still is. And yeah, I'll speak to him about certain things sometimes and what to say in Spanish. But yeah, a lot of the time it's the boys just correct me, or again, but then it's a classic thing. I'll speak to them in Spanish and they'll reply in English, and I'm like, sweet.
Yeah, standard. Yeah, that's the default there. They are so good with it. Like they do try to bring it a lot. I still think in English and then try to make that in Spanish, and they're like, that's not how it works, mate. Think in Spanish and then speak in Spanish. I'm like, that's the bit that's the problem.
Massively. So, like, I do it all the time, and then I'm like, no, that it's basically backwards to what you're thinking, and I'm like, all right. But yeah, there's little things like that. But yeah, I definitely still speak in English, but until I started doing it, then you start to see little patterns, and you just
there are patterns. It's once you actually probably look at it at a granular detail, it's fairly easy. It's just the actual thinking and doing it in the time that by the time like the missus and the kids, so my boys both go to Spanish school. They went straight to Spanish school, and they're taught in Valenciano as well. So they speak 3 languages. Awesome. But my youngest is 6. He picks and chooses. He's very much Mr. Brexit, and it works for him. He can speak every language. When it doesn't, no, I'm just English. And then my eldest, he's probably better at Valenciano because it's the regional dialect. That's what he gets taught in. So, and it's just like, and then you got the other end of it, and you just think it's there's just such a place to come and live and try to learn different bits, because it's not just Spanish. You got the Argentinians. I'm sure you've probably got a few up there and stuff, and that's a whole different language in itself as well. Where it's like
they say something, and I'm like, what's he just said? And it's
everyone's.
Yeah, it's just
everyone's viejo or vos. I'm like,
vos. I'm like,
is that even a word?
The language of Spanish is everything gets conjugated, and it's like, why don't you just like we say, like he is, she is. The verb stays the same, but they change the whole word, and it's like, and then some words just sound like sounds, and I'm like, I don't know what you just said, A and S to me, and it means something.
When you got partidado, where it's like a big game or good game, and you think, why have you changed that word and just put not we? Or I'm like, what? So yeah, I'm in the same boat, mate. Still learning, but
it's great.
You've also started coaching with Sam, another channel to I'm sure as another avenue to make a bit of revenue. What's the plan then, mate? Is that to try and grow that here, or are you staying?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of started it because I've always thought post rugby is, I think I'd like to do some coaching. In my career now, I do a lot of sort of video analysis myself, whether that's on myself or of the opposition. Especially now I'm in Spain, these sort of games where they mean a bit more. I'll find myself sat, like last week, for example, I found myself sat watching Chammy games and picking weaknesses up or whatever, and then just discussing with the coaches. So it's it's always been sort of my game, and again, that was something Nottingham taught me. When I first went there, it was like, "Have you watched that video?" I'm like, "No," and because what video? I'm like, or it's like, you're not playing this week because of this. I'm like, well, what do you mean? They'll show me all these videos, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I've missed an opportunity there. But I never did that, so I thought, my game was okay. I just went off my own feelings. So yeah, I sort of learned the tough way with Nottingham, and again, it's something that I'm really thankful for. So yeah, I sort of was sat months ago and was like, how can I put what I do in my own time? And it was a mix of that, but then also, again, like we spoke before about the junior rugby in Spain, given my sort of experience from a player that's come from having those sort of high-level coaches teach me and show me this way of learning and becoming a better rugby player, not just practically doing it on the field. Because I'm a player that's, and I feel a lot of us are, that until we see a picture or we get an understanding of why I'm doing it, I can't fully get on board with it. And I'm like, well, but they don't show. But now it's like, oh, do they show that picture? Yeah, they show that picture. Okay, let's run this. Let's do that. Yes, it's in English at the moment, but obviously the better my Spanish gets, be able to offer those classes in Spanish. And yeah, like I said, across any part of the world, a lot of it's speaking English, or there's a fair few countries that speak Spanish, or people that you'll come across.
As long as you understand rugby,
yeah,
you can still. Like I had the late great Warren Abrahams on, who'd gone to many different countries. Kenya, he'd gone down to Brazil. He'd done a tour around the world coaching all. And I was like, Warren, what's the one bit when you try to get your message across in a language that they don't speak English, you don't speak their language? And he goes, rugby. He said he just found a way of doing it through rugby, through handsit, like all these other bits. People, if you show by doing and show by rugby, people just pick it up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And that was, like I say, I think a lot of it was, I can't get out and get in one-to-one with people or in groups a lot. And you're never going to be able to do that in terms of reaching a big audience. And the world today on social media is crazy. So I thought, let's take what I know, what I've learned, and pointers that I've been given and I live by to this day, and still doing practices. And yeah, offer that to people that want to improve rugby and get a chance to understand there's different aspects of the game that you might not think are important. So yeah, it's a case of watching their games or watching certain skills that they want to improve on, or discussing those skills, and basically just giving them tips, giving them tricks of how they can improve that. But then if it's more the game related stuff, we're sitting and watching your game, and I'm basically analysing you as a player of how you need to think, or what are your thoughts you're having these conversations with them as a player and going, okay, well, I think why did you do that? Or did you see this? And they might say, oh, no, I didn't see that. And it's like, okay, well, when you're on that field, get up and have a look, scan. Oh, there's a prop in front of me. I'm a fullback. I'm a lot faster. Give me the ball, let me go. Or there's no one in front of me. We've got 3 players, but no one spoke. Let me be that player to speak. It's all these things. And all of a sudden, for me, it's when you have that knowledge and you have that ability to do these things, all of a sudden you become a lot more confident when you step on that field.
Yeah.
And that's when your level becomes above everyone else. And it's like, oh, this game's getting a bit easy. and then you start stepping up the levels. So, but again, like I say, unless you can sit and watch that and know what you're looking for, it's difficult to do. Like a lot of us will sit and watch rugby games, absolutely, on the weekend when we're not playing, all this stuff. And I do it myself. I'll watch highlights and I'll just enjoy it for what it is. But then sometimes I'll sit here and I've had moments where I've sat and watched a game with Callow, and we've gone, oh, we could have gone there. Or, oh, what's he doing? And it's like, they're a lot better rugby players than us. But our mindset is, we can do that, or we know what we're looking for. Our brains allow us to know what we're looking for. We just haven't got the ability to do it.
So, there's a difference.
Yeah, is that different? So it was sort of like, for me, I want to help people. Last summer, I went back to England. I did a lot of one-on-one coaching. So it sort of started there. And then, yeah, I'm going to go back this summer and do some of that stuff as well. But now I've got an online page to help that. And the page also shows like some of the reviews I do, like, and I'll show this is what I'm looking at. And again, it's not just passing, kicking, tackling. It's look at his effort, look at his work rate, look at him scanning. Yeah, and again, I saw a market for that. There's men's and the women's game's growing massively. There's a lot more women playing rugby. So yeah, again, the game's growing, and yeah, it was something. I mean, it's going well in terms of visualization and the reach I'm getting, but yeah, it's still a work in progress. But I enjoy it. It's rugby. It's what I love doing, and even if someone watches the video and it helps them, then great.
For those that obviously want to find that, where can they find it?
Yeah, so it's on Instagram and TikTok. It's at Coached by Sam. Drop it a follow if you'd like. Hit me a message, and yeah, let's get to work.
Sam, I think we've probably covered as much as we can so far, mate. Because I know you've got to get ready for a semi-final this weekend and
next weekend. But yeah, I've got training tomorrow.
Next. Yeah, obviously you're going to be getting ready. We got a fair bit. By the time this is out, it will be this weekend. So this is coming out next Friday for everyone else. So yeah, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm so glad we finally got it over the line. Absolutely. I know it's been a year in the planning, mate. But for everyone that, as he said, we've got Coached by Sam. We've got your own stuff as well. VRAC, you can watch the games on YouTube. Anything you want to say to anyone that is thinking about coming to play rugby in Spain?
Yeah, I mean, it completely depends where you want to go with your rugby, but I would say for experiences, a change of culture, and to test yourself mentally of where you want to be and as a person, I think go for it. I think, like I say, the top 6 in Spain is very competitive. You get some great games. There's opportunities here now that you play in finals, quarterfinals, semi-finals, almost every season, and the fan bases that come together are like nothing in England, I would say. So yeah, like I say, experiences, different exposure. I'd say go for it. It's great, and yeah, for me, I love it. And ideally, we don't want to leave, but let's see what the future holds.
For everyone that's really enjoying everything that we're doing with Spanish rugby, obviously make sure you hit a follow, subscribe, everything that we do with Rugby TTL. And hopefully we're going to have a few more of these players that have been making the jump into Spain. English speaking, obviously, my Spanish is not quite there to do it in Spanish yet. And Sam, when Sam gets it now, we'll get him on to host them instead. So for everyone that wants to join us, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, everything like that, and go find Sam's page to get him to level up your rugby. So for everyone that's joined, appreciate your time.